Welcome to the Ultraflex football podcast, where we have fun with our friends while we talk about football. I am your host, Anthony Sutton. With me is at Ultraflex Rob
What's up, guys?
and at Ultraflex Ryan.
Hey everybody, I have my did you know for the week, and sitting here thinking about it, I was starting to get a little bit stressed out. I was like, I gotta think of something good. Um, so I try to keep my mind open throughout the week, and if anything comes through that I didn't actually know, then I'm gonna share it with everybody here. So most people know that like when you're talking about fruits and vegetables, right? You got like the tomato as a fruit, and the weird things like a cucumber or peanuts or nuts in general, peppers, avocados, those are fruits. But did you know that coffee beans are a fruit?
I
Did you
did not
guys?
know that.
Can't say I knew that one.
So our addiction to coffee just means that we're addicted to fruit. Like coffee beans come from a cherry it comes on a tree, and it's like a coffee cherry, and each cherry has two coffee beans inside of it, or typically has two coffee beans inside of it, and they take like a year for that cherry to fully develop and produce a or two coffee beans. I just thought that was crazy, man. Like
Nice. So when we
all
drink
beans are fruits.
2 cups of coffee a day, like I do I get 2 servings of fruit? Does that count?
Well, no, probably not, because they're getting like dried, roasted, and all that stuff before they actually become a coffee bean that you drink. But if you were
That's
to
too
eat
bad.
them, actually, I don't know if that'd be good if you want to eat that right off a tree, because they're probably really hard. You probably want those to dry out. That's where you get the coffee flavor. But that's my tidbit tiddlywink for this week.
Are you going to try to stump us every week?
I hope so. Yeah, that's my goal. I want to say something that you guys might, or hopefully you don't know. Like, you didn't know where pea came from last week.
Yeah,
You
you're 2
didn't
for
know that
2.
coffee beans were fruit.
Where are most of the coffee beans grown?
South of the equator, because it's a what do you call that? Hold on a second. A tropical or subtropical climate. So you're looking at around the equator.
Nice. All right, yeah. But all right, good little fact there. I like that one, Ryan. We're gonna start out by ranking 3 things like we do every episode. This time we're gonna get ready for football season and tailgate season, and we're gonna rank our top 3 football or tailgate foods. So we'll go ahead and name our third favorite food and go from there. So my third favorite food for football season or tailgate is chili. It's fall. You can pretty much mix anything in chili you want, have a little spice in there, and it's a nice food to have while you watch the 4:00 games.
All right. I mean, chili was. You know what? I'm gonna put that as my third, because chili was one of mine also. So I'll jump in with you, Tony. I'm in with you on the chili.
I love chili. I thought about putting it on mine, but I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. So we get a little bit of different options here, I guess. So for my 3, I kind of lumped 2 together. I went with the hot dog / hamburger duo there, the classic.
Oh,
Can never go wrong with a hot dog or a burger.
That's a lumping into 2. Now I feel like I got to come up with a third one.
Well, I mostly did that because I wanted to sneak a couple more in here. So
okay, I'll have to think.
You're free to do those as your 2 and 1 if you want, but that's kind of spoiler alert. Now you got to come up with something different.
Too late now. I got to come up with something new now. All right, those are gonna be my number 2 because we ruined that.
I feel like those are like the perfect tailgate because they're so easy to bring a electric grill or even have like a campfire in Buffalo. Try not to freeze. Number 2 for me is I lump 2 together as well: pizza and wings. I feel like I always ordered those together. Very rarely, if ever, do I order just pizza or just wings. So Having a party of any sort, pizza and wings was the way to go.
We're also from Buffalo, and let the world know that Buffalo has the best pizza and wings. So if you ever come to Buffalo, you have to stop somewhere and get pizza and wings just to test it out. See it for yourself.
A lot of people would probably agree about the wings. I don't know if people are going to agree about the pizza.
Yeah, I was going to point out wings for sure. My number 2 was also pizza and wings. And yeah, Buffalo and wings, they just go together perfectly. Got to try the wings in Buffalo.
All right, and my number 2 was ruined. It's pizza. Wow, nope. It's hamburgers and hot dogs. Anthony, what is your number 1?
So it's kind of a offspring of my number 2, but my number 1 is chicken wing dip, which again is a very Buffalo thing of me to say. But if you know what I'm talking about, there's not much better than having a nice bowl of spicy chicken wing dip and just plowing through some tortilla chips.
All right, I have a question. Do you like your chicken wing dip made with blue cheese or ranch?
Ranch.
What a weirdo. Okay, well, you just threw me off.
Tastes better.
It does not.
I think it's both good. I mean, I prefer the blue cheese, but
yeah,
I'm not going to turn down the ranch either.
Of course, no one turns down buffalo wing dip. It's delicious, but if you have a choice between blue cheese and ranch, you got to go blue cheese. Speaking of which, for wings, I'm just curious with you guys, blue cheese or ranch?
It's blue cheese for me, but I usually don't add it to my wing. The only time I'll add blue cheese to my wings is if it's a really spicy wing. And it takes a lot for a wing to be too spicy for me, so.
Ranch for me. I'm not a blue cheese fan in general.
All right. Well, you're a strange person.
That's why you left Buffalo.
Yeah. Get out of here. You don't belong. All right. So my number 1 is, I remember when I lived in Texas, I'd go to a University of Texas game, and Longhorns, and we'd be out there in the parking lot, and there's people with like brisket cooking. I don't know if they got there like 12 hours early to start smoking some brisket, but I don't know that there's something better than having like a barbecue brisket before football. That's my number 1. It's so good.
Probably helped that you were in Texas too.
Yeah, I think that's like a southern thing, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that was some good brisket.
Yeah, if you go to Texas, you got to get yourself some brisket for sure.
I like it.
All right.
My number 1, I went with chips and dip because I wanted to be kind of broad there and just include a lot of different dips. I had the buffalo chicken wing dip written down, spinach and artichoke dip. You can just have the classic salsa, queso. There's just so many different options there with the chips and dip. So that's my number 1. You can have it anywhere. It's easy. So many options.
So many chips.
So many chip. Yeah, you could do any kind of chip you want.
Yeah. How many different combos do you think there are to make between all the different chips and all the different dips?
It's infinite, bro.
It's got to be. Yeah. I made a crab dip for the Super Bowl a couple years ago. That was super good. There's so many options out there.
That literally made my stomach churn a little bit. You said crab dip, and my stomach was like, "Nah, dog, not about that."
Well, 1 week from today, we will be getting ready for the season to kick off. So it'll be time to get your pre-season or your tailgating and pre-game meals ready to rock and roll. So good time to bring it up. Now we're going to jump to around the league and some news that's been going on since the end of the preseason. So Jimmy G is staying in San Francisco as the backup.
Oh, baby, let's go.
Ryan, what was your hot take from episode 1?
Wait a minute. You threw that off a little bit. You said Jimmy G's staying in San Francisco as the backup. My hot take from like episode 1 was Mr. Jimmy G would be starting week 1 for the 49ers. And you guys counted me out last episode. You guys were like, oh, Anthony's was the first one that didn't make it. Well, then you were like, oh,
They already announced Trey Lance as the starter.
Yeah, but listen, there's so many things that can happen. First of all, he just needed to be on the team. That's a win as far as I'm concerned. Second, if Trey Lance gets hurt, or I don't know, if Debo and Ayuk are like, man, this guy sucks. We don't want him playing quarterback for us. They say something public, and then the coaches are like, oh, yeah, we're going to listen to the wide receivers, which never happens. But I'm just saying, there's a chance now that hot take can come through.
You got about a week for that to happen.
Doesn't matter. I don't care. Maybe Trey Lance will get. I don't ever want anybody to get hurt. But if Trey Lance goes out there and hurts his ankle in warm up or something, I'm gonna be not gonna lie. I'll be a little bit happy.
That's the only way it's gonna come true.
I was gonna say there's zero chance that he is announced the starter.
Oh, good. I'm so glad that you said that.
I'll give you 20-1 odds.
Bro, I don't want 20-1 odds. I just feel like that's against it. That's I'm happy.
What odds would you need to take it?
1,000-1.
1,000-1, yeah. Ooh. I mean,
I'd give you 100-1.
Yeah, I want 1,000-1. Give me 1,000-1.
Oh my god, that's how unconfident you are.
That's how hot take you was from the get go. Listen, I'll give you 1,000-1 that the Jaguars will make the playoffs, Mr. High on Jaguars over there.
I already placed a bet on there, so give me your money and we'll put it on there and we'll both be rich.
Okay. Is there any way to bet against that?
You're giving them better odds than probably the books are. 1,000-1, did you say? Dang.
I was literally just going to say.
Can I put $1 on that?
No, I was just going to say I'll give you 10,000-1 odds. There's just no way it happens. Anything you're putting on that is going to be free money for me. I'll take it.
All right, put $1 on it.
I know. Well, obviously, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the Jimmy G situation. But does that at all maybe change how you look at Trey Lance this year, or maybe going forward, and what the 49ers think of him?
I don't think it really changes for this season. Maybe maybe it shows that there's a little bit of hesitation to not want a good backup behind him. So there might be a slight hesitation, like I said, but I'm not too worried about it. What do you think?
It always, I don't know. For me, it almost seems like, is it possible that they re-sign Jimmy G to trade him later? Like, they just bought themselves some time. They signed him for not that much.
Yeah, they reduced his salary to like $6.5 million or something.
Right.
He's still the highest paid backup in the league, but I thought I heard he has like a no trade clause.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Must have missed that.
Now, I don't know how that works in the NFL because I feel like you don't hear that too often. Like, can he choose to waive it if an injury comes up on a random team? I don't know who, say, I don't know.
The Bucks.
I don't want to curse anybody. Okay, the Bucks. Brady gets hurt. That one's fine. Can he choose to then waive his no trade and get traded to the Bucks week 5 when Brady's hurt? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they can agree to any trade, whether they have a no trade clause or not, as long as they agree to it. So, yeah, so we'll see what happens. Some other news was very unfortunate, especially after the fact that there were rumors that he was just going to get the starting job. Brian Robinson was shot in a carjacking incident. Luckily, wasn't life-threatening. He's already back in the facility. But how does that impact the Commanders' backfield? I guess it goes back to Antonio Gibson now.
Gives people some hope for Gibson again that seemed to be almost all lost, right? He's got a chance again to try to reestablish himself. McKissick's going to catch the passes, but
it truly felt like hopeless for Antonio Gibson for a little bit there. I mean, you were watching him drop in
his ADP was just free falling.
Yeah. And I think it was for good reason. Like, he fumbles the ball way too much. I never understood why. I mean, they had McKissick as their specialized third down back and receiving back, but oh man, like
he also never handled a full workload in college, and they don't seem to want to give him a full workload in the pros. Like, it just seems like he's going to be that part-time player. We might have already seen the best of him in his career.
And this is the reason why it's so rare for running backs to repeat being RB1s or relevant in the league. Just they can be replaced so easily, so fast. And it takes something like a guy getting shot twice, unfortunately, for him to possibly be relevant again. And it feels like, like they don't, obviously the Commanders aren't that interested in rolling him out there. If they were basically moving him to kick return.
It'll be interesting to see how quickly Robinson can get back, because I think that'll be whenever he's healthy and able to play it, they're going to give him the shot, in my opinion, to get his starting spot back. So we'll see what happens.
Did you see the report of the bullet that passed through his knee? And
no.
That was apparently one of the shots went through his knee, but didn't cause any damage to any ligaments. Like, talk about getting lucky.
Wow.
Yeah. I saw he was already, 2 days after getting shot, he was back in the facility, just like on crutches. So, just that alone, he got pretty lucky there. So that's obviously amazing given the situation.
I do wonder what the recovery timeline for something like that. Obviously, it would have to matter, like how much damage it did to the muscle, the tissue, like everything going through. No ligament damage, that's good, but the bones. I wonder what a recovery on something like that is.
I think I saw one of those Twitter doctors saying they think best case scenario would be October for a return. So
wow,
that would still be 2 months or less, even if he comes back, middle of October.
NFL guys are so tough. You shoot me in the leg twice, and I'm never going to walk again. You guys are like, give me 2 months. I'll be back.
Isn't everyone on Twitter a doctor?
Yeah,
I am.
Yep.
Sticking with the running backs, and I guess San Francisco as well. Trey Sermon was cut. Is that a surprise to you? And what does that do to the 49ers backfield?
I didn't think it was a surprise just because I thought he was terrible last year. The only surprise was the coach talk that I believe they were just saying, like, oh, he's having, his best camp, which it's only his second, but still they were talking about he's been one of the best players in camp, and they turn around and cut him the day after final cuts. So
it doesn't really seem like a shock, honestly. They didn't use him hardly at all last year. He seemed like an afterthought. It was just time to move on for them after 1 year, not given
once
a chance.
They drafted Tyrion Davis-Price in the third, it was kind of writing on the wall, I think, for Trey Sermon, outside of an insane camp.
And Kyle Shanahan's kind of proven that he can put anyone in there anyways, so it doesn't matter too much. Whoever, they're going to be a lot like the Pats. They're going to put people in there, they're going to produce, and we'll see what happens.
Who do they have? Like Jeff Wilson, Tyrion Davis-Price, and
Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like backfield.
They cut JaMychal Hasty also. They got an undrafted free agent, Jordan Mason, made the team out of camp. So could be a name to keep an eye on. But.
Yeah, I was going to say, is anybody stock up from that? Like, I feel like Sermon didn't play enough last year for stock to go up on anybody.
Yeah, because really Jeff Wilson is what he is at this point. I mean, he's a Shanahan favorite, but he's not. I don't think a guy who's going to handle the full load. And Elijah Mitchell, I mean, maybe you bump him up, assuming he could stay healthy, just because he might not have a challenger to that RB1 role this year.
Yeah, it's a big assumption they stay healthy.
Yeah, that's why I said they're a lot like the Pats, because any of those three, given that week, could get 20 points or they could get 2 points. So do you want to play that consistently? Probably not. So
no.
The Dolphins could be that way this year too.
Yeah. Although I do feel a lot more comfortable drafting someone like Chase Edmonds over, at average ADP or at ADP. I'd rather have Chase Edmonds than Elijah Mitchell or.
Yeah, he's got that pass catching floor right? That's safety net that Elijah Mitchell doesn't really have. So
Right.
I agree.
Sticking with running backs, Sony Michel. He was cut and then signed with the Chargers. He's going back to LA. First the Rams, now the Chargers. Any fantasy value there? Handcuffed behind Eckler? Anything that interests you there?
Yeah, I think so. They've been kind of vocal about, even Eckler himself has been vocal about wanting less carries. And I would think who this hurts is probably Isaiah Spiller. There must have been something that they just weren't impressed with, and maybe they think he needs a year to kind of redshirt and figure things out. So they bring in Sony Michel to be the guy to take some of the load off of Austin Eckler. Michel's a guy who's done it before. He's never been great, but he's been solid, and he's a guy who can handle the carries. So, yeah, I think he could have a pretty good sized role this year for them.
That dude's got some serious luck. He goes from like California to Miami to California.
Yeah, right.
Poor guy.
He was in New England.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was in New York. Yeah,
he was there for like 4 years. Yeah,
but he was a first round pick. Like Bill Belichick made him a first round pick, made him rich, and then just had to sit there for a little while and not do all that much. And then he got to go to California, Miami, and California again.
So did he win a Super Bowl with the Patriots? He must have won his rookie year, right? I think.
Didn't the Patriots win every Super Bowl from like 2003 to 2017?
Well, I think he probably came in the league in 2017 or 2018. So
yeah, I think he won his rookie year.
I think he was. Yeah, I think when they beat the Falcons, he was a rookie.
That game, though. My God.
And then Jalen Reagor was traded to Minnesota. I don't think there's much fantasy impact there, but what do you guys think about that move?
I think they mostly brought him in to return kicks, punts and kicks, compete for the wide receiver 4 spot. They actually gave up like a 4th and a 7th round pick, which was more than the Cowboys gave up, or which the Cowboys got for Amari Cooper.
So weird.
Which, yeah, I mean, I get the contract situation, but it's still crazy. You got a guy who puts up 1,000-yard seasons, and then you got one of the biggest wide receiver busts in recent memory.
Not only that, but Cooper's contract doesn't even seem like anything now after all the wide receivers just got paid.
Yeah, Dallas should have just held on to him a little bit longer, and now that contract looks like a bargain.
Yeah.
Did you see the video? Did you see the video of the Vikings brass, like general manager and Mike Zimmer at the time, laughing at the Eagles?
I have seen that. That's great. Yeah.
For taking Reagor instead of Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, no, they ended up trading for him anyways. But yeah, no immediate fantasy impact there, but obviously Reagor was drafted in the first round for a reason. So hopefully he finds his way there.
Reagor in college, so maybe he could turn it around.
Yeah, you never know.
He's probably getting a QB upgrade, so
probably, yeah.
Another receiver that's looking for a fresh start is one of Ryan's favorites, Laviska, is getting moved to Carolina. Realistically, it probably has somewhat of a chance to be the 3 or 4 receiver there. So, Ryan, what do you think of the move to the Panthers?
Laviska Shenault. I don't know. I love the dude's name. Like, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I just love the way it sounds. I was a huge fan of him his rookie year. Dude balled out. He looked like a real promising prospect. And then year 2, I don't really know what happened. Like, they just kind of, he was an afterthought. He didn't even have that bad of a year. But statistically wise, or as much as he was on the field, but like, he's got to be better than Terrace Marshall, right?
I think so.
He was like one of the worst wide receivers in the league last year. Laviska's got some Debo to him. Like, he's built like a running back. Dude, I mean, I'm not saying he's Debo Samuel. I'm just saying, like, he can handle carries out of the backfield. He's got great size.
He's another guy I liked coming into the league, but what I've seen him put on tape since coming into the league, I haven't been impressed with it. Like, once he gets the ball in his hands, he just hasn't been a playmaker. That's what he was in college. It was all get the ball in his hands, then he makes stuff happen. He hasn't been able to do that. I don't know why it's going to change now. So I'm not interested in him personally in fantasy, but I could see how maybe you could say it's a slight bump in value just because he should get more opportunity here than he was going to get in Jacksonville because they already saw enough out of him.
I mean, the games that he played in his rookie year for fantasy points in PPR, he had like 13, 10, 8, 14, 14, and then 4, 7, and then 6, and then 15, 11, 9, 15, 24. Like that's a solid wide receiver 4, wide receiver 3 for your fantasy team. Last year he was at like 12, and then he had 12 points, and then he had 1, 8, 17, 6, 11. Like this guy can produce, and he got like 10. He got 9 targets the first week. He got 10 targets week 6. So you earn targets in the NFL. Like the dude can get open. So I'm just
Can he?
I mean, I don't know. I can't wait to see. Okay, he could get open. It's not his fault that he had Trevor Lawrence throwing to him last year, and that offensive line not giving Lawrence any help.
I feel like most of his touches are schemed to get him the ball quick, and then he tries to make a play happen, and most of the time he just doesn't.
Oh, good. I can't wait. I mean, I got him in my dynasty league, or one of my dynasty leagues. I can't wait to see him blow up so I can rub it in your face.
Maybe if McCaffrey gets hurt again, he could have a hybrid running back wide receiver role like Debo had last year. That could be, to me, the best case scenario for him. They try to use him how the 49ers use Debo. Because I don't think as just a wide receiver that he's good enough to be a number 1 or number 2.
Would you rather roll out Laviska Shenault as like a running back wide receiver hybrid, or like if McCaffrey's hurt, I'm saying, or have Deonta Foreman or Chuba Hubbard back there running the ball?
Yeah, they're both bad, so I would rather try Laviska personally.
Right. So I think that there's an outlet for him to have success, and
yeah,
I don't know, man. I like him. I like him a lot. We'll see.
I shouldn't say Deonta Foreman's bad. Like he was
bad.
pretty good last year with the Titans, but he hasn't been impressive in the preseason.
I think
with Carolina.
Just from being down here and listening to the radio down here, I think the Panthers like Shi Smith a lot. So I think they would use him in that running back guy out of the backfield role before they used Laviska there. But I guess
all that news came up before Laviska got traded.
Yeah, I was going to say they just traded for him, so it could be different. But yeah, I do think that Shi Smith could be a player for him.
The only other news that I have here that's noteworthy is that the Super Bowl champs, the Buffalo Bills, just signed their punter. Any thoughts on the punter there, Rob?
So it was Sam Martin, I think I saw, right?
Yeah.
We're talking punters.
I just hope he can hold the ball well because the Bills won't be punting a lot this year. That's my
exactly.
Boom.
That's my thoughts on it.
Mike,
should have just kept Matt Barkley for the punting. Then the only other news was that the Jets had 11 players picked up off of waivers. So either they're...
I thought it was 7.
No, 7 today, 11 in the last week or two.
Oh, okay. All right. I was saying cut day. Yeah.
So either they have the deepest roster in the league or they just know how to evaluate talent, and we'll find out.
It's scary because you have to think that it's the latter. Like they're just poor at evaluating talent. They have guys that they let go that are obviously better than guys on their roster.
Right. They can't have that many guys that are worth keeping over 7. I don't know if it was all 7 different teams, but 7, we'll say 7 different teams picked up guys from the Jets. It just seems crazy to me.
Did the quarterback that balled out in the preseason go somewhere? I missed it.
I think he re-signed to their practice squad.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was hoping they wouldn't get him back and he'd end up being a star somewhere else.
I think the only quarterback that actually Kellen Mond got claimed and Ian Book got claimed. So 2 quarterbacks did get claimed, but
they increased the practice squad volume or roster size, right?
Yeah, it's like 16 this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just saw how many people the Bills had on their practice squad. It was a lot.
I think this year they bumped up the amount of veterans you can have onto it, like to 6 or something.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but when you pick someone up off of someone else's, when they let them go, you have to sign them to your active roster. You can't sign them to your practice squad, correct?
Yeah.
So
you can't sign them from your practice squad or their practice squad to your practice squad.
right. So the Jets literally let 11 guys go who are going to be on a roster somewhere else. That's insane to me.
Hey,
Not the practice squad somewhere else, the roster.
We'll see what happens in New York. We already picked our games the last few episodes, and we let you know what we think of what the Jets are going to do this year. But maybe it'll work out for them. Speaking of which, we're going to pick some more games right now. We are getting close to week 1. We are going to pick week 1 against the spread and see how we do. So
don't touch that button. Sorry, guys.
The first game of the year is the Buffalo Bills against the Los Angeles Rams. In Los Angeles, they'll be getting their rings and hosting their banner, and the spread is Buffalo minus 2.5. Rob, what do you think?
So we're going to keep track of this. We're going to each go through, pick who we think is going to win, and then we'll tally it up at the end of the week and let everybody know who they should actually listen to when they give our opinion.
All right, so for that game, the most important game of week 1, I think the Bills are going to come out strong. They're going to set us the tone, make a statement that they are the Super Bowl favorites by beating the defending Super Bowl champions by more than 2.5 points. So give me Buffalo minus 2.5.
Buffalo. Ryan?
Man, it really, there's that narrative, and then there's the narrative of, the Rams are just really good again, and Aaron Donald destroys that offensive line that doesn't look real good in camp for the Bills. They had a hard time getting everybody together. Saffold had a car injury, and their right tackle situation was a little bit questionable between Quessenberry and I can't think of the other guy's name.
Spencer Brown.
Spencer Brown, thank you.
He's been coming back from injury too.
Yeah, he's coming back from injury. To me, I feel like there's a better chance that they barely win or lose than they go out there and just pummel the Super Bowl champs, especially at home, and not pummel, but win by more than 2.5. I'm gonna go Rams.
The Rams. I think 2.5 to me is almost not even.
It's pretty much a pick-em game.
Yeah.
So to me, Ryan's saying he thinks the Rams are going to win.
I do.
Because really, how often is a team going to win by 1 or 2? It doesn't happen often.
Okay, I don't think the Rams are going to win, but I think that there's a very clear narrative for it to happen. Very easy narrative. So I'm just gonna. I don't want to be the same. I don't want to have the same picks as you guys. I know you guys are going to pick Buffalo. So
I could also talk about the Super Bowl hangover narrative if you want.
For sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. And the fact that Stafford's elbow or shoulder, whatever the heck's wrong with that guy.
I think the Bills are the better roster. I think Josh Allen is the better quarterback. And I think the Bills win by at least a field goal. And a field goal is 3 points. And the spread is 2.5.
What?
So I'm going to pick the Bills.
Don't forget the Bills don't have
smart
Trey
math,
White,
right?
Davius White either. So they're going to be rocking Elam and I don't know.
Dane Jackson.
But they
still
also
have the best safety core in the
I'd say the best safety core. They have an improved defensive line. They got the better offense. So
Von Miller's going to get at least 1 sack. He wants it.
I know the story of how good the Bills are, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm picking Rams.
You got to put $100 on the game.
Let's go Bills. Wearing my Bills shirt today. Just picked against it.
Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is favored by 6.5.
And
Now,
that's
to
gonna
me,
be
that's that when you're talking about blowouts and points, 6.5 is some points.
it's some points, but it's going to be Trubisky probably out there running the ship there. I'm gonna go Bengals. Give me that, cover that spread.
I just do wonder about like the late backdoor cover there. Like, oh, Bengals are up 14. Steelers score late against the backups and go for 2 to make it a 6-point game. Like, I worry about that. I do think the Bengals should win. 6.5. Give me the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm also going to pick the Bengals to cover. I think they win by at least a touchdown. They're just by far the better team, in my opinion, especially because of the quarterback difference.
They haven't named a starter yet, right?
Nope.
Could also see that game ending up like 13-7, something like that with that defense.
Could also be 40-10.
Hell, it could be anything.
Philly at Detroit. Philly's a 3.5 favorite on the road.
How much do you like Detroit, Rob?
Oh, I'm all on the Eagles this year. So give me the Eagles. Convincing week 1 win.
Oh man, their roster's so good. Their offensive line is so good that Jalen Hurts has they set him up for so much success this year. If he can't do it this year, he can't do it. I think it's going to be that simple. I'm also going to take the Eagles.
Don't you think even if he can't, Gardner Minshew can go in there and make it happen? Like, they're just so set up for success this season on both sides of the ball.
I think Detroit will come out obviously amped up for the first game of the year at home. I think they've got a young team that can at least put up some points. So I'll pick them to cover the spread. I think they'll keep it a close game. End up losing, but I think they'll keep it a close game. So I'll pick Detroit. The next game is Indy at Houston, and Indy's getting 8.5 points on the road.
Houston's getting the points, right?
Or yeah, sorry. Indy's 8.5 favorite.
I was like, yeah, I'll take Indy plus the 8.5. That sounds good. It's a lot of points. Is that the biggest line of the week? Looks like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me Houston plus the points. It's such a big line. Week 1, funny things happen. Could see him winning by 3 or even 7, and they cover the spread. So
I think Houston is bad, and now that Indy has Matt Ryan, I mean they can beat you defensively. They can beat you. They have a good defense. They can beat you through the air. They can beat you on the ground with Jonathan Taylor. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go Indy, cover that massive spread.
I couldn't go 4 straight favorites to cover. I had to get an underdog in there.
Should have picked the Bills to lose.
I think Indy's definitely the better team, obviously, but something about the AFC South games in general always seem to be somewhat ugly, somewhat close. So I think 8.5 is a lot of points. So I'll pick Houston to keep it within 8.5. New Orleans at Atlanta. And Atlanta is getting 5.5 points at home.
Can Mariota keep it close, Ryan? You know him better than most. Being a Titans fan.
No, maybe. I don't know.
5.5's a weird number.
You go first, Rob. You go first. I want to ponder this one a little bit.
Yeah. We picked Atlanta to win like 1 game this year, didn't we?
Yeah, something like that.
This is a tough one. I think I'll take the points again. Give me Atlanta. I don't think they win the game, but I could see a late cover there.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm gonna roll with Atlanta too. I don't like that one.
I'm picking New Orleans. I think to me the Atlanta is going to be very, very bad, and I think Jameis has a pretty good year, and it starts week 1, and they win by at least a touchdown. So I'm picking New Orleans.
You know what?
Bolt.
Switch my pick. Switch my pick. I'm all aboard the Jameis train. Let's go.
Yeah, I was surprised. I know you've been a big Jameis guy, so
It just feels like the perfect letdown game where I'm like super hyped on Jameis and he goes out and gets just whomped by the Falcons or something.
weird things happen week 1, so that's why I'm like it could definitely happen. Like they could lose that game and then still end up a playoff team. Like who knows?
Yeah.
So
Baltimore at the New York Jets. The Jets are getting 6.5 points at home.
The Jets just gave away 11 starters or 11 rosterable players.
They should have kept them. Give me the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's gonna statement game. He wants to get paid.
Does Joe Flacco go out there and remind the Ravens what he did for them? I'm gonna go. Let's go Jets. Let's go.
Your Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, they'll still get to the Super Bowl. They're
gonna beat the Jets by like 3, and then you still think they're gonna win the Super Bowl? Gross.
No, I'm not picking the Jets to win that game.
No, I know. I said you're gonna have the Ravens beat the Jets by 3, and then you still feel good about them as a Super Bowl contender.
I feel great. Like you said, man, it's week 1. Weird stuff happens. I can see Joe Flacco going out there balling out.
I'm just messing with you. You're a big Lamar Jackson guy too, though. You sure you don't want to change your pick?
I love me some Lamar. Yeah, I'm sure.
I agree with Rob. I think Lamar comes out and throws for 5 touchdowns and just tries to rub it in everyone's face. So I think they blow him out. So I'm picking Baltimore to cover.
That dude wants his money. He's going to ball out this year.
Yeah. New England at Miami. New England is getting 2.5 points.
Yeah, I don't like this line. So that's telling me that they think that New England's the better team on a neutral field, right? Because usually 3 points is the line. That doesn't make any sense to me. Give me Miami all the way.
I'm right there with you. I think Miami is by far the better team.
That should at minimum to me be a 3.5 line, because I think they're the better team by at least a little bit, if not a decent margin.
Yeah, kind of similar for me to the Buffalo game. Anything that's under 3.5, I'm just going to pick who I think is the better team, because there's not many games that are going to be decided by 1 or 2 points. So I'm going to pick Miami to just win the game and win by win by 3 or more.
But where is that line coming from? Like with all the negative publicity right now around New England with how that offense has looked in the, Joe Judge and Matt Patricia led offense versus Miami, who's had a pretty good amount of hype behind them right now. I don't get, that's a weird line. It's almost like a trap line. I don't know. Yeah.
They probably just assume Bill Belichick's going to stifle Tua.
It's almost like they want you to bet Miami. That makes me a little nervous.
We know that Miami's favored that game, right?
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure, because the way we're talking, it seems like we're saying that the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a smaller line then, because typically they say 3 points is the home field advantage. So
right,
if they were equal teams, you would say Miami should be a 3-point favorite at home against the Patriots. So they're saying New England's the better team by a little bit.
Yeah,
that's what it implies to me.
Cleveland is going to Carolina, and Cleveland is getting 2.5 points.
I'm gonna go. Oh, man, I hate when you say Cleveland is getting 2.5 points. It keeps throwing me off. I feel like whenever I read lines, I always go, okay, Cleveland is, or Carolina. I always say it the other way. I go, Carolina's favored by 2.5.
You got to learn your lines, Ryan. Learn your lingo.
I know. All right, so everyone knows not to listen to my picks now. I'm gonna go Cleveland. Give me the Browns. I think Cleveland's probably the better team outright there.
They are the better team, but I think the revenge narrative there will be strong for Baker Mayfield. He's going to want to win that game. He's going to put he might try the hardest he's ever tried in his career to win that game.
Will it be enough?
I'm picking it. Yeah, give me Carolina.
Yeah, I'm picking Carolina as well. I think Baker plays with whatever attitude he played with at Oklahoma. He's maybe not grabbing his junk, but I wouldn't be surprised if he starts flipping the bird. He could be flipping the bird. He could be doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So he's going to be ready to go for that.
Did you see his quote to the Bills sideline reporter in the preseason game last week?
I saw he like denied it, but I didn't hear what he actually said.
I'd be surprised. I mean, I don't think it was like Cynthia Freeland or whatever from NFL Network. I'd be surprised if she would lie, but she said like that he said, quote, "I'm going to F them up." in reference to the Browns week 1. So
he's ready to go. San Francisco is going to Chicago, and Chicago is getting 6.5 points at home.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah, I'm still going 49ers on that. I think Chicago is
the Jimmy G led Niners, Ryan.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm giving them the points, dude.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think the Bears are going to be one of the 4 or 5 worst teams this year, maybe even worse. So I will take the 49ers minus the 6.5.
Same. I don't have to say anything else. Everything is the same there. Jacksonville going to Washington, and Jacksonville is getting 3.5 points.
Jacksonville's getting 3.5 points. That means that Washington's favored by.
Ryan's gonna learn something this episode. We'll be good for week 2.
What do you want me to see? What do you want me to say?
Nothing.
You want me to say that Washington is giving them 3.5?
No, Washington's favored by 3.5.
He wants you to say who's the favorite.
You keep saying who's getting the points. I'm not telling you what to do, man. You do you. I'm just saying I think of it like Washington is favored by 3.5 points. That's how
Ryan has to solve the riddle when you say it your way. So
yeah, I sit here and I go, okay, Rob, you go first because I'm still trying to think of what Anthony just said.
It's a complex
with
math
the
equation.
New Orleans Atlanta game there. I was like, you asked if how Mariota looks or if he can cover 3 points, and I'm like, what does that mean?
So I'll go first. I'll give Ryan some time.
Thanks, bro.
I just in this game I think both teams are not very good, but I think Jacksonville has the potential to be better. So I'll take the points there. Give me Jacksonville plus the 3.5. Ryan, we already know you're taking Washington, so just
I'm taking Washington. Jacksonville is a poo-poo team. I'm going to go Washington wins by at least double that spread.
Jacksonville makes the playoff and starts with week 1 with a win outright. The Raiders going to the Chargers, and the Raiders are getting 3.5 points.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Chargers there. I think that that defensive line with Mack and Bosa and their secondary is so good, and the offense obviously is it's legit. I think that they're one of the best teams in the NFL this year, and I just don't see the Raiders being that way. And 3.5 points isn't enough for me to sway the Raiders' way, so I'm going LA.
Yeah, this one doesn't really feel like a 3-point game to me. Like I just get the vibe of a blowout one way or the other, and if I'm going to pick a team to win by a lot, I think it'll be the Chargers. I feel like they both are teams that want to go out there and prove that they are the favorite in that division. They probably both have the reasons to think they are, but I think the Chargers are the better team. So
I think the opposite. I feel like the Raiders are always involved in some sort of crazy close way to lose the game. So I don't know
The
if they're going to win
Chargers
this
do
game.
that too.
Yeah, so I don't
Yeah.
know if the Raiders are going to win this game, but I think somehow it'll be a close game, and I think the the Raiders will cover at least. The New York Giants going to Tennessee, and the Giants are getting 5.5 points.
Let's go,
Oh,
Titans.
I already bet this one at plus 6.5, so the line's moving. I had
What'd you
Giants
bet?
plus 6.5. Yeah.
Whoa. You think the Giants are gonna? So you think the Giants are gonna cover the 6.5 point spread?
This is a 5.5 now that we're talking, but yeah, when it first came out a little while ago, it was 6.5, and I bet on the Giants to cover that. I feel like we talked about this when we picked either the Giants or the Titans. I kind of just said how I could see the Giants coming out hard for Brian Daboll and having a close loss to the Titans.
That's cool if the Giants want to come out hard on Brian and Dable, but I'm gonna go Titans there.
Why do you say it like that?
Because it was funny in my head. I don't know.
All right, so you're going Titans. Rob got the Giants.
Yeah, I got to take the Giants because I already bet it. So,
I don't know. Honestly, this probably isn't one that I would touch. I'm just not. I don't know what to expect from the Titans this year. To be honest, I'll say Tennessee covers that and wins by a touchdown at home, but I wouldn't feel confident in saying that because I'm not really sure what to expect out of them. So we'll see. Kansas City going to Arizona, and Arizona is getting 3.5 at home.
I think we're gonna see Patrick Mahomes without Tyreek Hill, and I don't think he's gonna have a hard time for the whole year. But week one against a good, well, oh man, I might have just talked myself out of it. I was like a good Arizona team, but they're really not that good of a team. But they are usually strong to start the years, and I think they beat the Titans by like 20 points last year, week one. So I'm gonna go Arizona.
Yeah, give me Arizona as well. Mostly just because if this was 2.5, I think I'd take the Chiefs. This feels like a 3-point Chiefs win to me, like a last-second field goal.
I agree with everything said, so I'll just move on. I'll also take Arizona. Green Bay at Minnesota. Minnesota is getting 2.5 points at home.
I'm taking Minnesota at home. I think they win that game outright.
You gonna bet that plus 108 line for the outright win?
Maybe I will.
All right, I'm gonna go Green Bay.
Yeah, again, for me, this is another game where I'm just going to pick who I think's the better team. I think Green Bay's the better team, and I think that they will win that game. Tampa Bay going to Dallas. Dallas is getting 1.5 points, so pretty much pick them at home.
Yeah, give me Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
That doesn't seem right to me, but the pick seems right. The line doesn't.
We are all on Tampa Bay then. And then last game of the week, Denver going to Seattle. And Seattle's getting 6.5 points at home.
That one also doesn't seem right. I feel like that should have been the biggest point spread of the week. I'm gonna go. Are you kidding me, dude? Russell Wilson going to going to Seattle week one. He's gonna absolutely annihilate the Seahawks.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'm shocked too that Houston is getting more points than Seattle. Yeah, give me Denver.
I was gonna say neither of you were saying anything. I felt like a crazy person for a second.
No, I was just processing it, looking at the line. Like 6.5 does feel a little light, but
I think it is hard.
It is in Seattle. It's a tough place to play.
Dude, the fans will probably be quiet for us, just out of respect.
maybe for one play, but cool. So we got all the week 1 games in there. We'll keep track of that. See who does well coming up next. And now we will be going to Ryan's favorite segment.
All right, listener question of the week. We're going to do 2 of them. Listener questions of the week. And until you guys start either DMing us or tweeting us at Ultraflex FP on Twitter, in case that wasn't clear, I'm going to have my wife's just going to keep coming up with questions. So this first question is, if you could get laser hair removal on one area of your body, what area would it be? So if you never had to shave one spot again, where would that be? And I'll start. I'm a bald as beautiful man, and if I never
easy
had to
for
make
you.
a razor to my head again, and I've done damage to my head. I've cut, like, I used to have a mole up there, but it's gone now. Cut that sucker off. And I don't know if you guys heard this growing up, but when I was a kid, they said, like, if you ever, like, cut off a mole, it just, like, bleeds forever. Yo, they weren't kidding. Like, I cut that thing off, and I swear to God, it bled for, like, 3 days. But anyway, I would definitely go my head. If I never had to shave my head again, I'd be so happy.
I got a question for you, Ryan.
Oh, yes.
How much time a week do you spend shaving your head?
Oh, it's actually really quick, because I have this, like, I wish I knew what it was called. I'd give them a shout out. Maybe they'd sponsor us. But it's it's like a roller, and it's got a blade on one end, and you just kind of roll it over your head, and it's a razor, and it, like, shaves it all the way down to the skin. But I mean, it probably takes me about a minute and a half and I shower
Save
every day.
yourself like 10 minutes a week. That adds up over the course of a year.
It's not that much, but yeah, I was gonna say, if you extrapolate that over the course of my lifetime, which hopefully is a while longer, I could save a lot of time. Not only that, but even, like, I just shaved my head, and if you're watching on YouTube, like, I look down, you can see that the hair is still, like, it wants to come in. Like, I'm fighting it off.
It's
Bring it
ready to
back.
come through already.
Dude,
Bring it
if I
back.
if I let it come back, I look like I'm about 55 years old. I got, like, that dome thing going. My hair left me on the front, the forehead. I got, like, a 10 head. And then I got that bald spot in the back. So yeah, I can't let it come back.
So yours is.
I got mine. I'm going with my neck because I get a lot of ingrown hairs, like, when I shave that part of my neck here. So if I never had to shave that again and it was just always good and smooth, I'd be happy. No more ingrown hairs, no more pain there.
Do you use a razor, or do you use, like, an electric shaver?
Both.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do the razor straight down. Sometimes I just, if I don't feel like messing with it, cutting myself, whatever, I'll just do the trimmer. Just take it as short as the trimmer will go.
And every time you have to cut over your Adam's apple, is that, like, always, like, a hold your breath moment?
Oh yeah, you gotta, like, kind of suck it in.
Yeah. You swallow, let it go up there for a little bit, and then hold it. Yeah.
It's the worst part to shave, like, on your face. That's the worst.
Anthony's like, I've never had to shave a day in my life.
I'll say this is a hard one for me because I haven't hit puberty yet. So I have a luscious head of hair. So I don't need to shave my head. I don't need to really shave my face. And
your toes?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Did we lose him?
Is it audio cut out?
He's thinking.
Anthony, what did you say? I asked if you were going to shave your toes, and then you cut out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Good.
Yep.
I said there's really only so many others.
Audio does not want to say it. Bro, you're going to have to cut your video or something. You keep cutting out. Anthony. Oh, we're gonna be left on a cliffhanger here. He's just not gonna come back now. We're never gonna know what Anthony would want to be.
You really didn't want to have to answer this question.
He didn't, dude. He shut himself off. All right. Well, we'll come back to him. We're gonna go with question number 2. Oh man. All right, we're gonna go with question number 2. It's, if you could be in any game show, what would it be and why? Anthony, you're back. I want to hear it.
It didn't want me to answer because I was saying my head is full of luscious hair, so I'm not shaving that.
I thought you were gonna say you were gonna shave your head. I was like,
No.
dude, that's amazing.
I was about to be shocked.
Me too.
I can't grow a beard, and there's really only so many other spots that is necessary, according to people, to sometimes trim up or shave. And I'll let the listeners determine what that is, but that would be the spot that
it's your butt.
It is. It's my butt.
Are you looking for like a Manscaped advertising?
We need Manscaped, and we
them
need
to be a sponsor for us.
Headblade and Manscaped. Get at us.
Yes, it would be that area.
Your butt. Got it. All right. So, Anthony, did you hear the second question?
I did. Game show.
If you could be in any game show, what one would it be and why?
So I don't know if this is probably not considered a game show, but we kind of talked about it last week. I have wanted to be on Big Brother for the last few years now. So it's not your typical, it's not your typical Family Feud or Jeopardy or anything like that, but it's still $750,000 on the line. I feel like I'm pretty good at lying if I need to be. I'm a salesman for my daytime job. So you got to be able to BS a little bit there. So I can do that pretty well. And then a lot of the competitions I feel like I would do well at. So my easy answer is Big Brother.
Oh man.
I think we should go on Family Feud. That'd be fun.
I would love that. That'd be
Family Feud's hilarious.
It is.
Puts you on the spot. We got practice with that now with our listener questions.
Yeah.
I'd love to think of answers quick. That'd be a good one.
I would love to go on Jeopardy. This isn't my answer. I would just love to go on Jeopardy to see how big or how far in the negative I could go. Because I usually know about 3 to 4 answers throughout a whole Jeopardy show. So I would look like a big dum-dum out there. But I think I'm going to,
because you can go.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm having a hard time thinking of what the game show is called, even though I know it's like the most watched game show ever, besides Jeopardy. Wheel of Fortune, is that right? The one where you like solve the
yeah
Wheel of Fortune with Pat Sajak and Vanna White.
That's it.
All right, give me the Wheel of Fortune. Especially because I play.
Go ahead.
The reason is because I play Wordle like every single day, so I feel like that should help, right? Like I got
a lot of practice on it.
Yeah, you get to that last clue, and when you get like a chance at a car or $100,000, whatever it is, or $1 million. I would love to just try to solve those puzzles.
I think my honorable mention is The Weakest Link. Megan and I watch that quite a bit, and it's pretty much Jeopardy, but the questions are a lot easier.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good trivia one, because I love trivia. Like, I know Jeopardy is. And I think I'm better than 3 or 4 a show, but still not good enough to compete with those people. Yeah. Like, they're just so good on that show. Family Feud would be fun if you had the right people to go with, for sure. I don't know if I feel like it's on now or it was on at some point, but there's that one like Name That Tune or something where you hear like parts of a song and then you have to name the song title. I'm super good at that. Like I play that all the time I feel like we've done it before, Ryan.
Yes, we have.
I do it with
You
my
are
wife
good
all
at
the time. So I think that might be my choice because I feel like I could actually win at that.
I used to think that I was like the guru for knowing songs like instantly, and then I played that with you, and I think we did like 90s, like it was like punk rock or something. I don't know what it was, but you smashed on that. I was like, yeah, all right. Well, I guess I don't know much about anything.
You know who
I think
actually is better than me? My
who?
sister Morgan.
No way.
Yeah, we did this. We were camping, and we decided to just play like we were playing random music, and she was beating me like almost every time. I was like, I got some work to do because I usually beat everybody when we do that game, but
Bro, we
she
got
got
to
the
get
best of me.
we got to get people together, and we got to actually make like a contest out of this. I think that'd be awesome.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Anthony, you're still there?
I'm here.
All right, that's good. Just making sure.
That is it for this episode. Next week is officially the start of the football season. We'll be talking more about week 1. We can do some FanDuel or DraftKings salaries, and who should we start? Who should you sit? Who's the best bargain? I may be here. I may not be here. My wife's 37 weeks pregnant, so we shall see. I could be watching the Bills game in the hospital, so we'll see what happens.
Just make sure she doesn't have the baby like during the Bills game. You know, that would be just so inconvenient.
Yeah, I'll let her know. I'll let her know that Ryan says that.
No. No. That wasn't something that I said. I was just simply stating.
My wife waited until after. This was when Washington was still the Redskins, but she waited like until probably 30 minutes after that game was over. Big win to have our daughter, so she can wait.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll just have them.
Took one for the team.
Just have them wait a little bit to induce it. So, but yeah, as Ryan said earlier, you can find us on Twitter at UltraflexFP, at Rob, at UltraflexRyan, and at UltraflexSutton. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.
And you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that is Ultraflex Football. See you next week, everybody.